Do I start?
Yeah,
So I'm just gonna.
so everybody welcome. If you're ready, Parker, we'll dive in. So
Okay.
everybody welcome. This is Parker Davis, and he is with the Divi Flamingo Beach Resort in Bonaire, and we are going to pass it straight over to Parker.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. So I started with this little screen because this is actually what my backdrop is at my real trade show. So I thought that was pretty appropriate. Um, I like this because it's I think one of our best features that we have at the resort is our dive pier. So of course our resort's right on the water. This is our dive pier. We have lockers down the middle, rent stations at the end. You can enter by steps. It's like 3 feet deep here. You can jump off the end. Obviously, you can step onto the dive boats. We have 5 custom dive boats. We have rent stations down here. Cool feature is we keep our tanks at the end of the pier 24/7. So you can grab a tank and go for a night dive at 1 in the morning if you so desire. And then, of course, our house reef is actually Calabas. It drops down to 134 feet. As most of you probably know, the diving in Bonaire is really going to be 40 to 60 feet. That's where all the marine life is. And then I have my little cheat sheet down here. We've got 3 restaurants, 2 pools, full service day spa, a fitness center, rental car on property, all types of meal plans, and our resort's actually a 5-minute walk into town. So that's going to summarize most of what I would say over my video. But I just wanted to show you this because I like this picture. And then I'm actually going to go to our video here. It's 5 minutes and 37 seconds. So if I can, I'm going to talk over it too. There we go. I think I muted it. Okay. There we go. Can you guys hear me? Still? I think you can.
Yep, you're doing great.
Okay, cool. All right, so there's a flamingo, aptly named for our resort. So just here's a shot of the resort. So we're a total of 129 rooms. As you can see, we're right on the water. These are our deluxe rooms. So we have standard rooms, which are these, which are pool view. The deluxe room, we have 40 studio suites. This is our crew, friendly staff. We did big renovation 2015, 2016. So renovated the pool, all the hotel rooms, the dive shop. We added another dive boat. So a lot of this stuff is done. And then more recently, we just renovated our studio suites. So those are some more updates.
Parker, can you mute it? It's getting louder and then we can't hear you. Sorry.
Okay. There we go. So here's a good shot of our 5 custom dive boats with all of our dive staff waving at everybody. So all the dive boats are different, which is nice. There's of course the steps showing how you can easily get into the water. With our dive boats, we typically cap the divers at 18 per boat. Even though some of them are larger and have higher capacity, we don't want to crowd too many people on the boat. This is actually a shot of divers right underneath our dive pier, which is pretty cool. Lots of good life. So we've got, of course, a learning center actually on property in the dive shop. So of course we do everything from, discover dive, your PADI open water to rescue diver, advanced courses, all of that. This is, of course, the donkeys are famous in Bonaire. That's the donkey sanctuary. So these people are wearing Divi Care shirts. So we're part of a program that's on island that does a lot of conservation for the island. Of course, we do, the recycling. We have solar panels at the resort, all that kind of stuff. Good underwater shots. These are the cabanas that they had added to the main pool. So we actually have 2 freshwater pools on property. And then we actually built a sandy beach area that we do food and beverage service. And then there are steps that go in the water. This is a shot of one of the deluxe oceanfront rooms. So we renovated the bathrooms, the furniture, all that kind of stuff. We did that a couple of years ago. These are great rooms. This is where I like to stay when I get to go to the resort. Shots of the diving and the food. So we actually have 2 restaurants and a beach bar on property. With all the dive packages, breakfast daily is included. We have a breakfast buffet. We have a lunch plan, a dinner plan, and then a true all-inclusive. That's unlimited meals, drinks, alcohol, all that. So those are all options. So you can do whatever you like. Of course, fresh fish daily. So Chibi Chibi is the main restaurant. It's the open air 2-story restaurant right on the water. Pure Ocean has the breakfast buffet daily. And then we do 4 themed buffet dinners at night. These are just some shots of town. Literally, we're a 5-minute walk into town. This is our dive shop. So it obviously got renovated as well a couple of years ago. It's really nice and modern and hip. And this is cool. This is called Pure Sun Deck. So it's on the 2nd floor. So it overlooks the water, and we do massage and drink service up there. We actually have our own casino on property. So that's kind of the happening nightlife in Bonaire. You can rent Harleys on the island, which is kind of cool. These are the slave huts. We have an activities coordinator up near the front desk too, so they can do any kind of island excursions you want to do, the kayaking through the mangroves, the Harley tour. There's a tour that goes through the national park, which is really cool. And then for actual dive packages, we do everything. We have just a shore dive package, which of course is going to be just diving our house reef with unlimited tanks. We have a drive, dive, and explore package. That's going to give you, of course, your unlimited tanks, and it gives you a rental truck for the week. But the most popular is our boat dive package. So that just seems to be what most people like to do. It's easy. The boats are going to take you to all the great dive sites all over the island. So it's a 2-tank morning boat dive with unlimited shore diving in the afternoon. Again, breakfast daily is included on that. And then what we have right now, our current promo, which Deep Blue Adventures has and is promoting for us, which is really cool because it is good for travel April through December this year and next year. The booking window on that is you just have to book by the end of this year, and it's our monthly dive specials, which I actually have. Let's see if let's see, that is this guy here. And just to show you, and they have this. So again, each month we have an added incentive. So 7th night free room upgrades, nitrox is included. So some good specials there. So if you have some flexibility in when you can travel, that's a good way to go. And then I'm just going to show you this. I mentioned the studio suites, which actually have the fully equipped kitchen. So we have 40 of those. 34 of them have been totally renovated, and the last 6 they're working on now, and they're going to be completed the end of this May. So these are actually a shot of what we have. They used to have these screened in porches. We now have the glass balconies. Here's a shot of the room. So what they did was there was a table and chairs that was on the screened in porch. They've actually made the room a little bigger. So there's a table and chairs inside, which is nice because it's air conditioned. There's 2 queen beds and a queen sleeper sofa. In theory, this room would accommodate up to 6 people. I'd probably only do that if it was like a family. You can get 4 in here comfortably. And then a shot of the bathroom. And then I don't have a picture of the kitchen, but it got all new appliances and they renovated that as well. So that's kind of like our newest update of what's going on there. And that's kind of me in a nutshell. Do you guys have any questions? I'll put this happy picture back up.
Hi, sorry, Parker. Yeah, everybody's muted, so I have to unmute them one at a time.
Okay.
So if anybody has any questions, somebody did ask about specials in the fall, and I did share that on Q&A. I think everyone can see it. But I sent a link out on the Q&A with some specials because we do have your specials on the website. I will say that Divi has been really great about sharing those specials with us, and also being very flexible and making them available for next year as well. I mean, under the current climate, we all know we need some time and some things to work through this. So if we can get out of here this year, absolutely great. And if not, know that Divi has been working very closely with us to get you out of here next year instead. So we do have some other questions coming up. So this is a good one, Dale. And guys, I'm going to try and open up your mic for you, but Dale Davis asked, I'm going to get you going, Dale, but I'll read the question so Parker can start answering it. Are you wheelchair friendly?
We are, yes. Great question. We actually work with a lot of accessible groups. We have, so 8 of our hotel rooms are fully accessible. And then we have 2 of the dive boats that we use specifically, for the wheelchair access. And all of our dive team, they're all certified to work with adaptive divers. So, and we actually each year we've worked with Eels on Wheels and different of the groups with adaptive divers. So
okay, great. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to find that question. I lost it, so I can't remember who it was that I'm trying to open up on the mic, but I will come back to that one. Kim or someone, sorry, Kimberly, yeah, Kimberly Lawrence says that we have been to Bonaire twice with Mr. Parker. Divi has the best charters and professional leaders in Bonaire. Somebody's asked for deals, and yes, we will get you those deals. We're working literally on it right now. We had handouts for you in here, but if you've been to some of our other seminars, you'll know that Zoom didn't cooperate with us adding those handouts readily available in these webinars. So we will definitely get those out to you. Matthew Grider, I'm sorry if I messed your name up. He's asking dive times. And I'm going to put him on, the, because I don't know if it's like how long diving or what time of day or anything like that. So bear with me, Parker. I'm just opening him up now. Sorry, Matthew, if you saw my little screen, you would know why it's taken a second.
Go ahead, Matthew. I've got you on already.
All right, awesome. Oh, I think maybe we lost Matthew. Okay. I don't even see him in the list now.
He said he's got no mic.
Okay, so I would just say, so the boat diving starts at, it's basically you meet at the boats at 8:30, and it's 2 different dive sites, and then the boat puts you back right before lunch. And then you actually have the option of, if you want to add afternoon boat dives on, you can do that as well. And it's a 1-tank afternoon boat dive, and the boat leaves at 2 to go out, and then we'll be back in probably like within an hour and a half. And then again, you always have your tanks for unlimited shore diving, so you can do that whenever you like. So that's how the diving works. And then with a typical, most people do a 7-night stay. So let's say you fly in on, your Saturday to Saturday trip. That very first next morning, you do a mandatory marine park orientation. That's part of Bonaire. So you would meet right outside the dive shop that morning. It starts at 9. So they'll go over how the marine park works, and then you do a checkout dive just to make sure you can dive, and that you get your buoyancy right, all that good stuff. And then so that first day you would do a 1-tank afternoon boat dive, and then the following day for the next 5 days is the 2-tank morning boat dive. So it's a total of 11 boat dives. And then if you added the afternoon boat dives on, it's an additional 5 dives. So it's a total of 16 dives. So that's with the boat dive package.
Great, thank you. And I did find it was Dale Davis. I apologize, Dale. Parker, be ready for an onslaught because you have got a ton of questions coming in. So I'm trying to get to everybody one at a time. But Dale Davis, I'm going back to the wheelchair question, just because I wanted to allow Dale any other kind of, you know, to elaborate, ask any specifics or anything like that, because this is very important. So Dale, your mic is open.
Okay. Hey, no, I appreciate it. We run a foundation in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and always looking for good places to go. So pretty much answer my questions, the accommodations and the boats and the training. What training do y'all use?
That would actually be, I'd have to ask our dive manager. I tell you what, if you, or if you give Cheryl your email address, she can send it to me and I can link you up with our dive manager. And then I can also email you. I have some pictures of sort of like the, you know, the rooms that are for adaptive divers and a couple more pictures. We're actually in the process. I've been trying to get marketing to do this, to add on our website a specific tab for all the things that we have for adaptive divers. Like, for example, like the main pool, we actually have, you know, 2 ramps. So when we actually did our grand reopening in 2016, we had one of the divers who's been coming down for years. He's actually a quadriplegic. They rolled him in his chair and got him in the pool for the first time. So different things like that.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I can definitely link you up with the dive manager and get all the specifics.
Yeah, no, that'd be perfect. We're always looking for new places to go.
Okay.
And Dale, we do have, with your registration, we do have your email. So I'm making a note as well to make sure that we follow up, because that's kind of something that's really important to us. So we want to get as much information to you as possible.
Well, and I just sent you both. I sent you my professional or the foundation email plus my personal one.
Oh, so, fantastic.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dave Wyatt, your hand is up and you're for some reason already unmuted. So Dave, go ahead with your question.
Okay, we used to, when I was there years ago, we used to be able to go down to the town pier if you got reservations and do a night dive on the pilings on the pier. Do they still do that now?
I don't think that the town pier is open now.
Okay.
And again, I can check with the dive manager. I know for a while that they weren't allowing people to do that. I think it had something to do like with the cruise ships. So it might be, yeah, like with the scheduling of that. But yeah, again, if we get your email, I can follow up with you on that.
I think it's been changing, hasn't it? I mean, hasn't it been changing at some point?
Yeah, like, I know, like, I think that it is open at certain times, but I think, again, like with the cruise ship schedule, that seemed to alter it, I guess, obviously.
Yeah, Terry's saying she doesn't think it's allowed anymore. I know at some point there was some people kind of going in under the radar, or if it was guided, and then it keeps going back and forth. But right now, Terry thinks that it is not allowed anymore, but we'll check on it. And then if it changes between, you know, if you've got a trip set up to Divi and then it changes, then I mean we would certainly update you.
Okay.
Let me see. I'm sorry if I messed the name up. Mikhail Lindstrom, you're on. Should be on. Bear with me.
Can you hear me?
Yep, can now.
Okay. Yeah, I've been to the Bonaire several times, but I've never dived the East Coast. Does any of your boats go there, or do I have to schedule that separately?
Yeah, so that would probably be separate. Yeah, we're gonna go to those main, like around Klein Bonaire, and basically along the, I guess it's the southwestern coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good question.
Okay, so let me see here. Somebody else with their hand up. You've got some of you in the QA and some of you in the chat box, and I am going to get to you all. Brent, Emery.
Yeah, I was asking about afternoon boat dives, but I see Parker already covered that in a previous.
Okay. All right. Great. Fantastic. Let me see here. I'll go to the Q&A box as is nitrox an upgrade charge?
Yeah, it is. So depending on, again, like with the monthly specials, a couple of those months we actually include the free nitrox. Otherwise, it would be an upcharge. So
Okay.
it's basically it's $130 per person for the week for all of your tanks, boat diving, unlimited shore diving, all of that.
Okay. And we have someone with no mic, and you may have covered this already. I apologize, but what are the dive times? Is it do you dive your tank at a specific time, and are there time limits on the boat dives?
So when we do the boat dives, so the boat's going to go out like at 8:30 in the morning, and it's going to be the two different dive sites. So the dive is going to basically be around 45 to 50 minutes. So we have two dive managers that go out with the group. One always stays on the boat, and then one dive manager always goes down with the group, to kind of point things out. Obviously, it's a good safety feature, that type of thing. So the average dive is going to be roughly around 45 minutes to an hour.
We've got a couple of people, maybe if you have something, if you could play that while we're talking. Do you happen to have any video or images of marine life or diving?
Let's see. Well, on the video, it shows some of the diving. I actually have a fish chart. Do you want me to see if I can find that?
Sure.
I actually made this my screensaver today. Wasn't that smart of me? Okay, let's see. Here's my. You have to see my behind the scenes. I think I have it called fish chart, fish cards. Yeah, here we go. So this is actually the Bonaire marine life. So it's all small to medium sized stuff. Can y'all see that?
Yeah, that's better.
Is that good? I know from experience, we do have some house tarpon that live just off the dive pier.
Oh,
and
that's
a mean green moray eel who lives in a rock. I've actually got some good pictures of him somewhere. Is that good?
Yep.
All right.
So I think we've covered afternoon dives. 24-hour shore diving is available. Yes. Night diving. Yes, you can do night diving. Sam Knight asked, because of your schedule, the way you're set up, is there no diving on the day you arrive?
Correct. The diving is going to be starting that with the checkout dive the next day. With groups, sometimes, I mean, in the past, as long as the dive shop has advance notice, they've been able to, work it out so they can do, like if they get in early enough, they can do their orientation, like the day that they arrive, but typically it's always the next day. So that's kind of under rare situations, they can make that happen.
Okay. Do you take snorkelers on the dive boats?
Yeah, we do. As it's just based on availability. So depending on how many divers and dive groups we have during the week, because again, with the 5 boats, we typically cap it at, now the number is really 90 to 95 divers per week. So if we have availability, snorkelers can go. The fee is off the top of my head, I think it's like $17 per person per dive site. So basically it's like if a snorkeler went out in the morning, it'd be like $34 for them to go on the dive boat. And then obviously, if they have their own snorkel gear and or even if they rented it from us, you know, they obviously can dive the house reef. You know, we actually have a roped off area that's kind of more sort of in front of like where the restaurant. And then we also have this, it actually is like a concrete pier that we have chaise lounges, umbrellas and steps that go in the water. So there's an area over there that you could snorkel. But if they wanted to actually go on a boat to go to the different dive sites, then, you know, we can, as long as we have the availability, we can do that.
Okay, great. Do you have Hobie cats to rent?
We do not.
Okay. Are there opportunities to volunteer with the Divi Care program while you're on island?
You know, they're actually, they're trying to work up some new options with the diving and trying to help, you know, restore the coral reef. With the Divi Cares program, I think that you can, but I'm not 100% sure. I actually have to check with Celine, our GM, about that. But that sounds like something that I think we would do. And I was gonna say earlier, of course, us as a resort do like most resorts, obviously the recycling, the solar panels, all of that. But and probably many of you know this, but Bonaire just got the blue designation about, I guess it was about a year ago. So it's, you know, how all resorts and places have gone green for all of their, you know, efforts in saving the planet. But Bonaire was one of the first destinations in the world to get the blue designation, which is basically all of that for underwater, which is really cool because all of their coral reef is an underwater national park. Hence why you have to, that very first day, you have to do the marine park orientation, you know, to learn about all the efforts and how to treat the reef and all that kind of stuff.
How well has the lionfish invasion been managed around Bonaire?
Well, honestly, so I used to get that question a lot at different trade shows, and Serge, who was our dive manager, he was with us for 21 years. He left the end of last year, and I would always ask him, and he said they really didn't have that many lionfish ever, because a lot of times people would ask if they could, you know, spear them, which in Bonaire, you actually have to get a special license to actually spear any fish. So you have to apply for that in advance. But he always told me that they rarely saw lionfish there. So I'm just going on what he said.
Okay. And we have Ted has asked, what's the refund policy right now with not knowing how long this social distancing is going to last? And I think that question is probably more for new bookings right now. Do you have a policy in place as far as flexibility with things going on in the current climate?
Yeah, we do. We have a 100% refund. So if you book and you need to cancel, you know, for any reason, you can do that. Obviously, because of the COVID situation.
Yeah, I mean, I'll elaborate on that a little bit. We work with various resorts, and everybody is doing something different. But what I will tell you right now is the resorts, at least the ones we work with, have been super, super responsive. I mean, there is different policies depending on when you booked your trip and what situation you're in. However, right now, if you're looking to book something new, you know, everybody knows that everything is so unknown right now, and there's so many different theories being put out there that the resorts such as Divi have been very, very flexible. If it's something where you want to put something on the books now, but you're a little bit hesitant because you're worried that you just don't know what's going on in the future. I have a couple of different feelings about that, depending on what it is. And down the road, there is room for insurance. It doesn't cover COVID-related stuff, But if it's things like you're worried about what job you'll be in next year, or situations like that, you're worried about other things going on financially, there's a lot of stuff where travel insurance does help protect that. Not everything, it's not a perfect solution, but depending on what you're worried about, trip insurance can offset some of those concerns. But right now, if you're looking to book, then most of the resorts, and including Divi, are very flexible, because we know that nobody knows what to expect right now. So I will tell you that that's something. And the other thing here is 2021 is starting to fill up because of all the people that are rebooking are having to push to either, you know, we personally are recommending last quarter. We're hoping it's going to be sooner. And if you're currently booked, we have to sit in a holding pattern until governments come out with policies and all that good stuff. But if you're looking for a brand new booking, you know, for us, we're not claiming to be experts in any way, shape or form, but, you know, to be safe, I would say last quarter or last third of 2020 and look into 2021. And what's happening is every week that goes by, you've got other people that were already booked rolling over. So without pushing anything, this event was never about sales, but you know, without pushing anything, if you do have the ability to start looking at planning some travel for the end of this year or sometime next year, you can't really do it too soon, just because everything is selling out due to rebookings, as long as everything is completely flexible and you're at no risk. And so hopefully that answers things a little bit for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Parker.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, Cheryl, I was going to say the same thing with us. We've seen that most of the people who had, especially dive groups, booked with us, certainly like in, you know, March and April. The cool thing is everybody still obviously wants to come down. They want to travel. So most of them have pushed it to the fall. The fall typically has been sort of our most popular, you know, and/or a few have pushed it into the 2021 dates if they weren't able to do the fall. But yeah, just like you said, it really is. It's kind of everybody's pushing things out. So it's especially with groups and when they have like specific weeks they need. I would say the sooner the better. Yeah, for us to go ahead and check on it for availability.
Yeah, and I would say, as I said, if that's something where you're in the mindset and the position, and you can, you know, you're in a position to do that, which not everybody is, then as long as you're no risk, then it's something you can consider. But we're here for you. I mean, the resorts are all here for you. They understand it as well. So I have been going up and down the questions and answers in chat box. I'm a little bit afraid I've missed somebody. Is there anybody out there that I haven't got to yet? If there is, can you do the hand raising or maybe type your question again? Because I know we got hit on both the chat box and the Q&A box by lots and lots of questions, and I don't want to miss anyone. John, I see your hand in the air. I'm turning your mic on right now. John Bergen. So let me see. I think you're on. Let me see. John, do you want to go ahead and see if you can speak? Nope, still not. There we go. You should be going now.
Nope, Cheryl, it's not going to undo his. Maybe we could just get him to type his question again.
Okay, yeah, John, if you could please type your question again, because your mic is not switching on. I'm looking to see if I could find it for him, but yeah, let me see. Is there anyone else that has their hand up right now? No. All right, one thing, and again, I'm sorry, I've been trying to babysit all the chats box, so you may have covered this, but one thing with Bonaire is it is a year-round destination. Because of their climate where they are and below the hurricane belt, their coral reefs are extremely shallow, you know, because they don't have a huge amount of storms and rain and everything else. So it's an excellent island for snorkelers as well. And because they're below the hurricane belt with a very arid climate, I mean, if you start to leave the beach, you see cactus almost right away. So, you know, everything's able to grow very, very shallow. And that's why the shore diving is so spectacular around Bonaire.
Hey,
And
Cheryl,
John,
I found John's question, or I think he's also got his microphone unmuted. Are you there, John?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear
All
me?
right, go ahead.
Hi, Parker. My daughter and I are open water divers, and unfortunately, we go once a year. So do you have a dive master that we can follow around?
We could arrange that in advance. I would say, especially if, if you did the boat diving, then, you could, because typically what they do with individuals or a group, they're going to typically put you on like this same boat for the week. So you'll kind of get to know those two dive managers. So I would say you could basically just kind of tell them, hey, we don't dive that often. Can we just kind of stick with you? I know the last time I was down there, I did that. And actually, I had taken my partner down and got him certified. And same thing. So we kind of like went with the dive manager. Of course, there's other people in the group down there. If you wanted someone to specifically go with like just the two of y'all, per se, like with the shore diving, and or if you were to do like a truck package, then we would just have to make sure that they had somebody available for the dates that you were going to be down there. So there are some options there. But the easiest thing would probably be just with the boat diving. You could actually go with the dive manager there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. And talking about like what Cheryl was saying with Bonaire and the ideal conditions, people always ask me, a better time of year to go. And just as you said, it is a year-round destination, obviously being outside of the hurricane belt. And also there's no current, which is nice. Obviously the diving is shallow, so you can get a lot more dives in. And the air temperature is in the mid 80s year round. The water temperature is in the low 80s, basically April through December. And then our sort of winter months, January, February, March, the water is in the high 70s, low 80s. So again, pretty awesome. That's why people love Bonaire. And it's easy diving, but it's also great diving. So it's just sort of the perfect blend of all worlds.
Yeah, definitely. I love Bonaire. You hear a lot for anyone. I mean, I know there's divers out there that aren't necessarily familiar with Bonaire, or people that are new to diving. Until I became a diver, I'd never heard of Bonaire. And I hear a lot about the diving freedom. It's the island of diving freedom, and to be able to jump in a truck or grab a tank and drop in the water 24/7, anytime, day or night that you fancy, is certainly freeing. But what a lot of people I didn't really hear talk about that I found was the freedom of my dive profile once I was underwater. The ability that, my hubby takes pictures. I'm happy to just, if I find a rock with a bunch of life on it, to just sit and watch it. And I don't have to worry about keeping up with a dive master or keeping up with a group. If we find something fascinating to take photos or just watch the reef come to life and do its thing, we can sit there. And if we want to call it quits after a short while, or we want to stay there a long time, obviously all dive times, etc. considered, the ability to be able to dive your own profile and how you want to do it, and not be following everybody around. If you do have a buddy that you're comfortable shore diving with, it's just something that's very unique to Bonaire. And while there's other destinations that do have shore diving, the abundance of shore diving options, I don't think you find anywhere else in the world than Bonaire. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So I think, is there anyone else that has any questions or anything you want to share with us? And I mentioned it before Parker was here, because Parker, they said if you were more than 10 minutes late, then they felt like everybody should get a free trip for 2. And I did put it out there that there wouldn't be a free trip for 2 for everybody, but I did mention for anybody that came in late, we do want to thank Parker and Divi Flamingo Beach Resort, because they have been extremely generous. we have a number of prizes. We've actually been overwhelmed. I was asking for a prize and thinking, honestly, in this climate with the way resorts are hurting and struggling right now, that nobody would give us a prize. And actually, we've been overwhelmed by donations. However, Divi is the one resort that has actually given us a prize for 2. So you've got hotel and diving for a week for 2 people to Divi Bonaire. And everybody is entered. You don't have to do anything else. You've already done it by being here. So we appreciate that. But somebody is going to get to go to Bonaire and take a buddy for free. So thank you so much for that, Parker.
Yeah, our pleasure.
All right. And something just come up on the chat box, so I don't want to miss that. Let me see here. Okay, no, it was just sweet and everybody's happy about that and they can't wait to go. So, and Ben Paulick says, thank you, Parker.
My pleasure. Hey, this is a fun way to do trade shows. I like this. And I actually have not had a drink yet, so.
Oh, well, see, I mean, my problem is that we've actually been drinking more. I can't tell you how many social cocktail hours I've had during the week that I wouldn't normally have. It's getting pretty bad for my liver, so.
I know. I was kind of wondering, most trade shows, the drinking starts kind of around, 4 anyway. So I was wondering how it was in the virtual world. So I was trying to be
well, no, you know what? You want to hold tight. Well, I'm sure we could all just wander off and grab one real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a lot cheaper too.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, well, everyone, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming.